Hi, today we're going to talk about the B minor scale basic position. This is very important that you pay attention to what I'm talking about in this lecture, this lesson, because you got to make some changes to your music sheet. So before we get started, a couple things. You want to grab your B minor scale basic position, and you want to tune up your ukulele. Now, and then we're going to pause for a second while you grab that. I'm just going to talk while you're getting it. Your ukulele and your music sheet. So this is not this lesson can't be applied to everybody because of the positioning on the fretboard, and I'll explain that here in a second. Okay, so you got your music sheet. Should look like that. Okay, but you're gonna have to do one adjustment to this, and it's a good practice that you do it, because either you're able to do this B minor scale or you can't. Okay, now let's say you can. Well, what you're going to do is you're going to just add a little notation here, right here to the right of the fretboard. Add two more lines, or two more blocks over here, and on the second block over, you're going to put a B note, and you're going to put a notation that's a 14th fret. So go ahead and pause the tutorial, make the notation on your B minor scale basic position paper. Okay, and I'll explain to you what's happening after you make the notation onto your paper. So when we play this scale, you're going to be playing all the way up to the 14th fret. Now, some of you that have sopranos in concerts, ukuleles, you may not be able to do this because you may not have enough frets. However, if you do, you're very fortunate. Now, if you have a tenor ukulele, no problem, you should be able to do this. Okay, so you tune your ukulele. You went and got your music sheet. You can see the notation I did there on the board. It should look exactly like that. And it's very good for you that you make the notation, because it'll remind you that when you do the B minor scale basic position, you got to be aware of that. Because, for instance, on a tenor ukulele, here's my 12th fret right over here. That's my 12th fret. So we're going all the way up to the 14th fret, all the way up to here. Okay, so that's pretty high up the fretboard. And like I said, not every ukulele is going to have every one of those frets, but if you do, let's go over the B minor scales together, and that's how you can tell that you have 14 frets. So we're going to be starting with the 7th fret. Once again, locate your frets, and we're going to do the notes with just one finger, just to make sure we're on the right track for playing the B minor scale. So I'm on the 7th fret, 2nd string. I'm on the 7th fret, 2nd string. I'm going to use my first finger to play all the notes. Follow along. Here we go. B. Oh, wait a minute. Before we start, since we're so high up the fretboard, make sure we don't play yet. Just find all your notes. Just like a puzzle. Find the fret, put the finger on the fret like this, and just find all your notes first. Find all your notes. Don't even play. Just find the notes that you're going to be playing. Okay? Pause the tutorial. Do that. We'll get started in a second. Okay, so you ready? You found your notes, starting from the 7th fret. Here we go. B, C sharp, D, next string, E, F sharp, G, A on the 12th, and then B. Okay, so that's pretty high up there. If you don't have that note, you know, unfortunately your ukulele may be a little small, but don't worry about it. I mean, if you can do all of the notes on the B minor scale, if you can do some of them, that's fine too. Okay? It's just that if you have a tenor, you have a little more advantage on that. One more time, 7th fret, 2nd string, B note. Here we go. B, C sharp, D, 1st string, E, F sharp, G, A on the 12th, and then B on the 14th. Okay, your notes should match up exactly like mine. You don't have to play as fast as me, but you got to play all the correct notes and they got to sound the same thing like mine. Now if you did not, pause the tutorial, work it out before we move on, and then we get started in a second. Okay, so you worked it out. You got your notes down. Now we're going to do fingering. The fingering that I'm using is 1, 2, 3, 4. Those are my numbers, 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going second string, B note, 1, 3, 4. First string, 1, 3, 4. Slide up to the 12. 1, and then you can go 3 or 1 and 2. It doesn't matter. Since they're so close together, it doesn't matter. Okay, once again, I'm going 1, 3, 4, 1, 3, 4, 1, 3, 1, 2. It doesn't matter. Some folks go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. That's fine too. Okay, you know, you decide on what you're doing. Picking wise, you decide which finger you're going to use. So let's ascend together. Ascending, starting with the B note. Here we go. Not too fast. B, C sharp, D, E, F sharp, G, A, B, and that's the B minor scale. One more time. Ascending. B, C sharp, D, E, F sharp, G, A, B. Stop. Stay on the B. Stay on the B. Here we go. Descend. B, A, G, F sharp, E, D, C sharp, B. So be able to go up and down, you know, first going up, then going down, then maybe be able to do the scale, you know, back and forth. Now, I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on this, just for the mere fact that not everybody has a tenor ukulele, so you may not be able to do this. But for you folks that have a tenor and you want to do this, by all means, you have the information. You did what you had to do by marking off on your music sheet the additional note. That's the B note on the 14th fret. So make sure that you did this little notation. And always remember that when you do your scale, this particular scale, that you keep that notation in mind. Okay, back up to tutorial, try it again. Wait a minute, one more thing. The B minor scale does have 2 sharps in there, 2 sharps, F sharp, C sharp. So in the key of B minor, you got 2 sharps, F sharp, C sharp, F sharp, C sharp. So in the B minor scale, you got the same 2 sharps, F sharp, C sharp. Don't forget the same thing we talked about, and when you listen to the previous tutorial about the understanding the family of chords, that D major has a relative minor key of B minor, and those 2 keys go together, yeah? So if you forgot or you need to be refreshed on that information in lecture, go back to the lesson, listen to that lecture again, because it's very important when we move on to talk more about the grid for D major and B minor. Okay, so that being said, please do what is necessary for you at your level of learning before you move on to the next tutorial, because it's going to get a lot more advanced. So when you're ready, we'll see you then.